staying mentally sharp in the classroom. We'll show you how a Brooklyn Park school is keeping students focused. Plus, a celebration that seeks to overcome the stigma of mental illness.
The good news is that many young people with mental health problems, they do great with treatment.
But first, a series of fires in Robbinsdale, and investigators say they're suspicious. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Renslow.
And I'm Mike Johnson. Robbinsdale police are investigating a series of arson cases.
Within the last week, there have been several different fires started in garbage cans, and some of those fires spread to properties. Eric Nelson has more on the investigation.
Fire big. I mean, seriously, I couldn't even articulate because it's like I knew something was not right.
It's become a hot topic in Robbinsdale, and it has some residents very concerned.
If it's keep happening, it's not just an incident that just happened once.
There have been 5 reported garbage can fires in neighborhood alleys. These blazes have put some residents on alert.
If there's suspicious people walking or bicycling up and down your alley and you don't recognize them, don't be afraid to call and report that.
The fires happened at 37th and Orchard, 39th and Unity, 41st and Quail, 43rd and Xenia, and 37th and Major, some causing extensive damage to nearby garages and fences.
I think we're going to be moving our garbage cans away from inside the garage at least.
Robbinsdale police think this is arson, but the case is new, and they are gathering facts, trying to figure out exactly what happened.
It's hard to say. It could be children in alleys. It could be the same person.
It is believed the suspected arsonist comes down the alley on their bike. They spot a garbage can like this, and they start the fire. The motivation for these fires is also unclear, but one thing is crystal clear. Even setting a fire as a prank can have serious consequences.
It's very dangerous because the homes are very close by to where these garbage cans are set out.
In Robbinsdale, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
There have been similar fires in Crystal and Golden Valley recently, and those cities are working with Robbinsdale on this case.
A new round of layoffs at Target will impact the Brooklyn Park Northern Campus. Target announced today that it will lay off 235 employees in technology-related fields. The Target spokesperson tells 12 News that the layoffs do affect the Brooklyn Park campus, which has about 2,000 workers and houses a lot of Target's technology operations. Earlier, Target layoffs had spared the company's IT units. Target spokesperson points out the company is still hiring for a number of technology positions, and those impacted by the layoffs were primarily in the areas of business analysis and project management. A new psychiatric hospital for children and teens is being unveiled today in Brooklyn Park.
It is the 6th PrairieCare facility in the state and also the biggest, with room for 50 kids to get inpatient treatment. Cassie Bonstrom joins us now from the new location where an open house is underway. Hi, Cassie.
Hey Alex, dozens of people are here inside as they just finished up the celebration. This is the first of 3 open houses that they're holding here before they open their doors to patients next week.
So we're working on some last-minute finishing touches.
The signs are up, the lot is full, and contractors are hard at work, a sign that Brooklyn Park's newest medical facility is close to complete.
It's about 3 times the size of our Maple Grove site.
When PrairieCare opens September 8th, the 72,000-square-foot hospital and clinic will be ready to take in 50 kids for inpatient psychiatric care.
And straight ahead is our visitor waiting room. So when parents come in for family meetings or for visiting hours, they check in at the front desk and they can come straight back here.
They're committed to making mental health care not just more accessible, but also more comfortable.
We really went to great lengths checking out how can we make things a warm environment so people feel comfortable here rather than feeling on edge.
Staff have given everything extra thought. There's an indoor and outdoor play area.
So it's a nice gymnasium, multi-purpose room kind of a feel.
And those white sterile walls, they've been replaced with chalkboard paint to leave notes.
Parents could write a little note, staff could write little notes to kids, kids can draw on the wall.
In any place they can, they've balanced safety with patient comfort.
The bathroom doors are a matte material that have a Velcro closure, and they can also be pulled down to maintain the safety of our staff as well as the safety of the kids.
Dr. Joel Oberstar, CEO of PrairieCare, says the new facility will fulfill a great need in Minnesota.
You know, in the time that I've been a practicing psychiatrist, there's been a real shortage of access to inpatient psychiatric care.
1 in 5 kids between the ages of 9 and 17, he says, has a mental illness. Half of all mental illness begins before the age of 14.
My goal is to try to help children be as happy and healthy and successful as they can be.
His hope is that this facility will help those kids get help quicker and without having to travel miles away from home.
It's exhilarating, really. It's a truly exciting opportunity.
Now, anyone interested in attending a public open house, they're having one here on Thursday from 3 to 7 p.m. Then next week, all the patients that are currently inpatients at the Maple Grove location, they will be moving here, and then they'll be accepting new patients as of Tuesday. Reporting live in Brooklyn Park, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
All right, Cassie, thank you very much. That new specialty hospital in Brooklyn Park isn't the only grand opening for the city this week.
It is a hub of new business activity in Brooklyn Park. When you consider in less than a week's time, the city will welcome 4 new developments.
That's a lot. That's a lot of grand openings in 1 week for any city, but we do. It might be, once a year event, but we do see a lot of activity that is occurring in the city.
Brooklyn Park has already cut the ribbon and celebrated the grand opening of 2 new schools. One, a kindergarten through 8th grade charter school called Noble Academy. The other, a preschool off of Highway 610 called Prestige Academy. And then on Wednesday afternoon, the city will celebrate the grand opening of Mississippi Gardens, a new wedding and event center along the Mississippi River. The mix of redevelopment sites plus some new business developments moving in is just what the city likes to see.
I think we get a negative perception sometimes, or even maybe just a neutral perception of what we are. And projects like Mississippi Gardens kind of accentuate that we're on the river. We have, positive things to see in Brooklyn Park. Same with PrairieCare. They chose Brooklyn Park as a nice regional center. It's part of a system.
Brooklyn Park has more than 1,000 acres of undeveloped land.
By 2017, the state wants Minnesota schools to reduce the academic achievement gap between white students and students of color by 50%. Today, schools got a report card on the progress being made. As many schools are still getting ready for the new year, the State Department of Education says nearly 2/3 of them are on track to meet achievement gap goals. In reading, 43% of schools met their 2015 targets for students of color. In math, it was 41%. Each year, schools must help more students reach more challenging targets. And for one, Brooklyn Park Middle School, being in a category just below the highest performing schools is a big step.
Northview was a few years ago on a priority school, and their scores were not where they needed to be. They worked very hard. They've made some fantastic improvements in math, and their math growth scores are what is really lifting them into that celebration eligible area.
Northview Middle School scores did slip a little, but this is the second year that the school is in that category. And you can find a link to see how your school performed on our website, 12.tv. Well, coming up, a fun way to enjoy the state fair that keeps you full and fit. That's next in Health Check.
Then a little bit later in sports, local football teams get set for week 3 of the season. We'll preview the matchups.
But first, still steamy on Wednesday, the dew point reaching uncomfortable levels.
Park Elementary School is taking the idea of moving and learning to a whole new level.
Moving around during class time will be encouraged at Park Brook Elementary. 2 years ago, the school introduced stability balls to take the place of traditional chairs in several classrooms. The idea is to help engage kids in their classwork. Well, now teachers are learning ways to include movement and fitness into lessons. They are redesigning instruction plans with the hope that it will help keep kids fit and focus their attention on the lessons at hand.
We're giving them permission to move, and we're showing them the kind of movements we want them to do and helping them to have conversations while they're moving and actively learning while they're moving. And then when you're done moving, you want to sit, so then there's time to sit for a while. And then when you're done sitting, it's time to move.
And movement will be included in every subject area throughout the day. School officials say it should help them build on academic improvement that they have seen over the last couple of years. The Minnesota State Fair isn't exactly the healthiest place in the world.
That's right, you can say that again. It's generally known as that place to eat things that are deep fried and high in fat and calories. But in today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland does look at some of the ways to stay healthy and fit at the Great Minnesota Get-Together.
The Great Minnesota Get-Together is known for its vast array of culinary options.
Sausage, ice cream, there's all kinds of stuff.
Sucker for corn dogs and candy bar on a stick.
Notice that there weren't exactly any healthy options among the items mentioned.
When it comes to the Minnesota State Fair, how often do you think about health? Does that ever cross your mind? It's probably the one time a year that maybe don't think about it because it's the state fair, everything is deep fried.
Well, not everything. In fact, it is indeed possible to be health conscious on the fairgrounds.
What's great is even if you're here to indulge, it's still important to introduce or to have a few of those healthier options during the day.
Annika Christ is a nutrition and weight loss expert from Lifetime Fitness. She says the best way to start your state fair day is with protein, such as pork chop or any meat on a stick.
That's the best nutrient to start, not only to help your energy, help your satisfaction and satiety as well.
And while those tasty treats may sound tempting, don't eat them first or you could regret it later.
The last thing you want to do is go for sugar. That's going to bring your energy up, crash you down. You're going to want to make those bad decisions all day.
One thing that's a virtual guarantee during the fair is that you'll do a lot of walking.
So that's what's great about the fair is there's plenty of opportunity to move around, move your body.
That's where a fitness tracker could come in handy to track your steps.
I'm wearing my Fitbit. I'm going to see how many steps I take. My goal is 10,000.
Whatever it takes to avoid overindulgence and get the most out of your state fair experience.
Because what happens is if you overindulge, a lot of times you're not going to feel great, you're not going to want to walk around and move all day.
At the fair, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Another key piece of advice is to avoid the sugary drinks and drink water. Dehydration is the #1 reason for fatigue. So fairgoers should bring a water bottle that they can fill up throughout the day. Because you want to have fun out there.
Without getting tired, all
That's
that
right.
walking around, right?
That's right. Coming up, a remarkable accomplishment by a soon-to-be Osseo High School freshman.
But first, a new coach leads Osseo into the volleyball season. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back. It's a new volleyball season, a new coach, and already a game under their belts.
Good start so far, and some good talent for this Osseo team this year. The Osseo volleyball team is off to a 1-0 start with new head coach Mandy Burian at the helm. Here's Jason Malillo with more on the Orioles.
Mandy Burian has been with the Osseo program for 9 years as an assistant coach, and for the players, that made the transition to head coach Burian pretty easy.
She was our JV coach in the past. She knew the program. She's able to keep the same Osseo traditions that we've grown to love. So I think that made it a really smooth transition.
She knows a lot of the girls. It's able to go up to her and talk to her about what we need to do, knowing that she's been under Quan and TJ the past couple of years. She has the same mindset, but also it's nice to have new eyes in the program. It's been really good so far.
Burian will lead a good Osseo squad this fall. The Orioles return a solid nucleus of players. The trick now is figuring out how the pieces will fit around those veterans.
It was kind of hard at first, like trying to figure out when you're next to new people that you're not used to after you've been next to people for a couple years. But I think it was a really good fit, and I feel like the girls, we all are coming together.
Looking at the roster, you may think that we have a big, brand new team, but our setters are returning, our liberos returning, and a middle hitter's returning. So kind of the key aspects to the game are returning, and that's a good leadership on the court.
Osseo faces rival Maple Grove on Tuesday night. Coach Burian played high school volleyball for the Crimson, graduating from Maple Grove in 2001. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
That match between Osseo and Maple Grove is at the Maple Grove Gym at 7 o'clock Tuesday night. School starts next week for many local students. Football teams will be playing their 3rd games of the season this week. Heading into Labor Day weekend, many local schools will play Thursday night. The slate includes Armstrong playing Cooper for the first time since 2010. Both teams are 2-0. Watch that game live on Channel 12 and 12.tv at 7 o'clock. Maple Grove is at home against Edina, and Osseo hosts Anoka. Champlin Park is home to play Coon Rapids, and Totino Grace is at Andover. Hopkins hosts Eden Prairie, while Benilde plays at Irondale. A half-dozen local games will be played Friday. Brooklyn Center faces Roosevelt in a game you'll see on Channel 12 live at 7 o'clock. Park Center visits Nicollet Island to face De La Salle. 2-0 Whiteside has a good test at Prior Lake. Providence Academy meets St. Paul Johnson at Bakken Field in St. Paul. Breck visits St. Paul Como, and West Lutheran is at Randolph. Osseo will try to continue a strong start to the 2015 season. On our first Sports Jam show of the school year, Jay Wilcox profiles Orioles running back Prince Kruah. Here's a bit of that story.
Prince is part of a large Liberian community in the Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center area, although he was born in another country.
I'm actually from the Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. My family's Liberian because I'm from the Ivory Coast because of the Civil War that's been on in Liberia.
American football is a new sport for a lot of immigrant families. It's helped Kruah as he's grown.
My mom, at first she wanted me to play soccer until my teachers at my school that I went to started talking to her about football, how it could help me out with school, help me stay in school and all that stuff. And so that motivated her to help put me in football.
Prince plays with a lot of heart, and a family tragedy fuels him. His cousin Emmanuel Bartua lost his life in a gun accident.
He passed away in 2008, and that's basically the reason why I'm all into football and why I'm so dedicated to the game. He was a really awesome football athlete, and on the day of his funeral, I made an oath to him, telling him that I will finish what he started, and apparently that's what I'm doing right now. I made a promise to my cousin, so that's why I'm all into the game.
Catch the rest of the Prince Kruah story and much more on the season premiere of Sports Jam. It's on each Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on Channel 12. Good story Prince has to tell.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you, John. Well, coming up, a 14-year-old with incredible drive and discipline.
The remarkable feat of this soon-to-be Osseo freshman when we come back. And finally, an update on a local athlete who is one of the best in the world in the sport of Taekwondo.
14-year-old Ethan Robinson recently competed at the World Taekwondo Federation World Cadet Championships in South Korea. Ethan will be a freshman this fall at Osseo High School. He's trained in Taekwondo since he was 6 years old and is ranked #1 in the U.S. for his weight class. At the World Cadet Championships, Ethan made it to the quarterfinals in his division, beating opponents from India and Spain. He was also named team captain and best male U.S. athlete at the competition. Ethan says he very much enjoyed the South Korean atmosphere and the people, and he was also interviewed by a South Korean sports channel.
Ah!
All at the grand old age of 14.
14, he's
there
getting
he
some
goes.
good practice.
He's an international ambassador.
That's right.
That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Community Corner is coming up next.